Guess what day it is today? It's Tuesday, and it's another week of your Red Couch Confessions. Yay! Okay, and the other thing that takes away your breath is asthma, and that's going to be the topic for today's Red Couch Confession after I got an email from one Facebook fan site from Sexy Food Therapy by the name of Kathy.
Hi Melissa, thank you so much for your take on eating for the body, soul, and bedroom. It's wonderful. I'm writing today because I've been facing a real problem for a couple of years now and I'm running out of ideas. I have significant asthma and I've been taking medication that has finally seemed to get my breathing under control for about 3 years. Last fall, the pneumonia set in. I had it 4 times. Each time I ended up on steroids and antibiotics. Come springtime, my lungs felt better. This fall, I'm nervous it'll happen again since my asthma always tends to get worse. Any suggestions for those of us who suffer from asthma? The wheezing is so not sexy. Kathy.
Alright, so Kathy, thank you so much for writing in. A lot of people definitely suffer with asthma. And interestingly enough, the fall is the time of the lungs according to Chinese medicine. So you were mentioning how it tends to be a little bit worse around the fall. Makes sense. So here are my top 3 things that you need to know and that you can begin implementing right away. Number 1. Right, so we're going to talk a little bit about allergens. Now, one of the things or reasons why you might actually be experiencing this constant asthma that doesn't go away is that you might actually be allergic or even intolerant to something. Now, whether that's environmental or even food, it is possible. Now, if it's food related, that's why I work with a lot of patients, whether it's on Skype or one-on-one, with a process of elimination. And let me tell you a little bit about that. So the idea behind it is that when you go to the doctor and you get a skin prick test, that only measured for an immediate response. Versus the way that I work is to also try to check for other allergies, which might be appearing 3-4 days later, so it's really hard to peg it down. So think about the things that you love the most, because generally what you love the most might hurt you the most. Number 2. Alright, so there is one food that I absolutely love. It's a fall food and it's actually been known to help with sufferers of asthma. So I thought I would do a little magical introduction since we are very close to Halloween. Now, pumpkin is a wonderful vegetable and it obviously is given to us in the fall because it's going to help the organs that might need a little bit of support. So with the pumpkin, Kathy, if you're going to be cooking this pumpkin, what I would suggest is to add some very hot, spicy, pungent food. So think about making like a pumpkin soup, like a pureed, warming pumpkin soup that has chilies, some garlic, some onion, and that would be actually quite therapeutic for your lungs. Number 3. Alright, so the last thing I want to speak to you about are supplements. Supplements are going to be very helpful for you, Kathy, when it comes to your asthma. Now, you want to be able to reduce the inflammatory response because asthma is a type of inflammation. The bronchial tubes get inflamed, they constrict, and that's why you have a lot of problem breathing. You might already know that. Now, so things like fish oil is going to be helpful, and I would suggest taking 1 teaspoon twice a day and always with food because that fat has to bind to something. And the second thing I would say is vitamin C. Now, don't just get some old vitamin C. You want to be able to get the good shit. And I mean something that is buffered with calcium because vitamin C on its own tends to be very, very acidic on the stomach. And when you take too much of it, you kind of sort of get, well... Okay, so Kathy, thank you so much for writing in for this week's Red Couch Confessions. I'm sure that's just going to be helping a lot of people, not even just yourself. Now, for those of you out there who also suffer from asthma or know someone who does, if you have any questions or comments or want to share about how you deal with asthma, please leave something in the comments below because I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, if you dig this video and want to help a sister out, then share it. Facebook, Twitter, etc. Give a sister a little bit of love. In the meantime, if you have any other questions that you'd like me to speak about, please email me. Until next week, have yourself a healthy, happy, and sexy day. Bye. Is that exciting enough? Or enough? Is that enough enthusiasm?